Hello everybody, in this lesson I will discuss a practice example on ogives. Let's do an example. 50 motorists were asked to record the amount of money spent on petrol in 1 week. The following table shows the purchases. Now there's your table. Petrol in rand, 0 to 50, 50 to 100, 100 to 150, etc. The number of motorists in that column you find 4, 4, 6, 12, 16 and 8. Now the question is, draw a cumulative frequency polygon or ogive for the data. So first of all, you need to complete the cumulative frequency column, and then they won't add it there for you. You must know. You have to add your own little column, upper limit of class and the coordinates of the points. Now let's start with the cumulative frequency. The first cumulative frequency is this number over there, the 4. And then to get to the next cumulative frequency, we will add this existing 4 to this 4, which is 8. Then it's 8 plus 6, 14. 14 plus 12, 26 plus 16 is 42. 42 plus 8 is 50. And you should be happy that you ended with a 50 here, since the question said 50 motorists were asked to record the amount of money they spent. Now, the next column, in order to sketch the ogive, we need the upper limit of the class. And where do we find that? This is this value there, 50. So for the second interval, it will be the upper limit of the class is 100. The upper limit 150. For the next one 200, for the next one 250, and for the next one 300. Then your last column that you had to sketch was the coordinates of the points. Now where do we find them? The x coordinate is this 50, the upper limit of the class, and the y coordinate is this 4, the cumulative frequency. So our first point for the ogive is the point 50 and 4, which is there. The next point will be the point 108. And you find that one round about there. Then 150 and 14. So it's the upper limit of the class and the cumulative frequency. 226. 226 is there. 250 and 42, round about there, and 350. Again, remember, you have to ground your cumulative frequency. Where do you find the ground coordinate? First of all, the y of the ground coordinate is always at 0. But the x you find, if you go to your table, the very first interval, petrol in rand, here, the very first entry there, it's that answer, the very first one is a 0. Therefore, your ground coordinate is at the point 0, 0. And now you can make your ogive. Remember, it's a smooth curve. On the x-axis is petrol in rands, and on the y-axis in goes your cumulative frequency. Then there's a question, number 2. Which class is the modal class? Remember, the modal class is the class with the highest number of motorists. In this case, it's the 200 to 250 class. Next question. Use your curve to find the median, the lower, and the upper quartile. Again, you need the cumulative frequency, which was 50. So for the median's formula, Q2 is equal to half times n plus 1. N is the cumulative frequency, which is 50. So it's half of 50 plus 1. Half of 51 is Q2 you will find at value number 25,5. So on the cumulative frequency, you go to value number 25,5 and you read on the x-axis. You read off your answer on the x-axis. In this case, Q2 will be at 190. The lower quartile, Q1, the formula a quarter n plus 1. So it's a quarter of 50 plus 1, a quarter of 51. And the value where you will read it off for Q1 on your cumulative frequency will be at 12,75. We go to 12,75, we read off the answer on the x-axis. Therefore, Q1's value will be 140. The upper quartile, Q3 is 3 quarters n plus 1. 3 quarters of 50 plus 1, 3 quarters of 51. And the value, Q3, 38,25. So on the cumulative frequency at position number 38,25, they read off on the x-axis and the answer for Q3 will be 235. Sometimes they also ask this question: calculate the mean amount that was spent on petrol. Now there's a little formula, and this one says X stripe, remember that's the symbol for the mean, is sigma, and sigma means the sum, and then Xi means the class midpoint times the frequency divided by n, and n is your end value, the number of motorists. So what you will do is, when you go to the table, you will see that I added a column. I called it class midpoint Xi. Now what is that? That means you go to your class interval 0 up to 50, and to find the midpoint you add 0 plus 50 and you divide by 2 and you end with 25. That's the class midpoint. So the next one, the class midpoint for the second class, 50 to 100, you say 50 plus 100 divide by 2, 75. Then you will say 100 plus 150 divide by 2, 125, etc. Then in this last column, what I did here, I said the frequency, which is 4, times the class midpoint, the 25, is 100. Then 75, the class midpoint, times 4 is 300. So I did that for every single interval. And then you will see I added everything, because sigma means add. So I said 100 plus 300 plus 750 plus 2,100 plus 3,600 plus 2,200, and I ended with 9,050. Now, when you go back to your little formula, you will see that here, sigma, and then this is class midpoint times frequency, was the 9,050. Divide by n, n was 50 motorists. And when I work that out, I see that the mean amount, the average, was 181 Rand. In the next lesson, I will discuss standard deviation and how you can use your calculator to calculate the standard deviation. Click on the video in the left-hand corner to take you straight to the next lesson.